And I call the member for Bendigo.
Thank you, Speaker. Well, for many of us in Victoria, this last fortnight has been a milestone. When we made our way to Melbourne Airport on Sunday to fly here for Canberra, our Comcar took us on the highway past Gisborne, where the Ring of Steel has been. It has been the border between Melbourne and my electorate in regional Victoria. And there was a little bit of a tear in my eye to know that at midnight that border would come down. It has been a challenge for many in our state, but what I believe that some of those on the government side have really misunderstood is Victorians did it willingly because they knew it was the right thing to do. The feedback that I got in my electorate when I was home last week was one of joy and relief. Relief that they had done it, relief that life was going to start to get back to normal, at least COVID normal, and that they'd done so without there being a loss of life in my electorate, without there being many people getting sick in my electorate. And I just really feel that we need to acknowledge that whilst there's the politics, whilst there's the banter, whilst there's a lot of people presuming to say what Victorians are saying, the vast majority are pretty excited to be where we're at, 13 days straight with 0 reported new cases and deaths. Far too many people have lost their lives in Victoria and in our country due to COVID-19. It is a virus that is very easy to catch. It spreads very quickly, and it is one that is hard to combat. And whilst we have had success which other countries have not had, it is because of leadership that we have had that. It could have been a very different situation if the Victorian government had followed the calls, the pleads, the banter, the bullying that government ministers had wanted them to. But instead, they stuck it out, even if it was unpopular. That's the definition of leadership, Speaker, is doing what is right, not always doing what is popular. And we are now seeing the results of that in Victoria, and we hope that that continues. But as the borders start to reopen and as businesses start to get back to normal, now's the time we need investment from all of our governments. There has been casualties, not just casualties of interstate borders being closed, and I'd just like to mention that the Victorian borders have never closed. You might think from some of the rhetoric of government ministers that the Victorian borders have been closed because they've been so critical of Dan Andrews, but it's the other states that close their borders to Victoria, not the other way round. There's also been the closure of our international borders, and I support the closure of our international borders. It is one of the reasons why we are keeping Australians safe and why we are keeping the virus out. We know that the new infections in our country are largely through hotel quarantine. But because we've had to close the borders because we're in a global pandemic and for health reasons, there has been knock-on effects, economic effects because of that have hit some of our industries very hard. Our travel industry will not recover anytime soon, yet we've seen no package to help travel agents and the travel industry that is so reliant upon overseas travel. These industries, these workers can't get back to work like the government is telling them to. We've seen a huge impact on our arts sector. Whilst hospitality businesses are open, whilst retail businesses are reopened and slowly getting back to work, our arts industry is largely still closed, particularly when it comes to major events. And it's not just the artists that are going without and the performers and the creatives, it's also all the other associated industries like catering, like the equipment that goes into it, AV equipment and so on and so forth. These events, we don't know when it will be safe for them to come back, and they need more than just JobKeeper. The big challenge for this government is, rather than a one-size-fits-all model, which we got with JobKeeper, is to now look at industry-specific targeted programs, which they've failed to deliver so far. It's disappointing because, as the travel agent said to me on many occasions, this government is very good at delivering industry-specific funding for drought for our farmers, but not for other industries. And I challenge the government to start thinking about support packages from the industries that won't bounce back quickly. This is a time for economic leadership. This is a time that we need a government to step up to support all industries so they make it through to the other side of this pandemic.